Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, so pretty eventful day today. We had CPI, we had a China deal get announced in the morning. So CPI did end up beating on two metrics and it came in tame on the third. And then we do have a China deal coming together and it just pretty much has to be approved by China at this point. So I'm guessing that's going to happen at some point. I'm going to guess that's going to be a bullish catalyst for the market. I don't think it's priced in. I know we've had, phase ripper rally, but I think confidence is actually just returning to these markets. But I am going to point out in today's video on why tomorrow we can start a bit of a larger sell. I think the pullback is going to be short-lived, but I think, if we have some elements coming together here, we do have what it takes to get that larger sell. And, I'm actually just going to start off with VIX over here. So VIX did end up coming down, making a new low today, and then we got bought up. Now they closed in a manner where we can go either way. I am going to assume if VIX is going to continue spiking here, it's probably going to get rejected from this area. We're probably going to reject the 200, reject the daily 21 EMA. If not here, probably going to happen off of 2044 right there. But I did get my alerts get hit today. For us testing this 1811 level right there, and we rejected so far. So that was going to be the trigger for a larger VIX spike over here, and as we can see, we did reject right there. So from here we can go either way. I'm not going to say I'm confident in either direction here, but I am confident that this pullback in the market is going to be bought up to new all-time highs. QQQ within 0.6% of all-time highs this morning. SPY within 1.1% of all-time highs this morning. The indexes, they're not going to get that close to all-time highs and they're not going to just not hit it. Okay, even if they fall flat in their face right now, like it's going to be a short-lived pullback, and that pullback is going to easily create a buying opportunity to get back up to all-time highs. And just pick and choose them, pick and choose your your favorite tickers, your favorite setups on this pullback, and that's the approach that I think is going to be a winning one. But yeah, I mean, I'm just pointing out over here, VIX did print a doji candlestick after sweeping the low over here. You did not close down at a low, you did sweep it, and you have a lower wick going on here. We can go either way from here, but I don't think it's going to be something that is going to last too long because of how things are set up on the on the Mag 7 stocks, semiconductors, and the indices. A lot of stocks we're just going to be coming back into key breakout levels. We're going to have a bunch of break and retest across the board. I think it's likely to be bought. All right. So we got VIX out of the way. Let's come back over here to SPY, guys, again. All right. We hit it with the break and retest off of this, upper trend line of the rising wedge pattern over here on SPY. QQQ is still within its rising wedge pattern, but SPY did have a breakout. And, today we got buyers stepping in exactly where they need to hold. Now, tomorrow, it's pretty simple, guys, okay? Underneath 599.09, we're starting that larger sell. We can come down to 595.54, 593.20, 591.05, and then 589.08. I don't think you're getting further down than over here, but I will just point out, if you come over here to QQ, you have a bunch of bearish divergences going on here on the 4-hour RSI, and you are still within that wedge. You rejected the upper bound of that rising wedge today. And, as we could see this morning on the CPI spike, you did get faded and you did not end up getting a 4-hour close above it like we did over here on SPY. All right. So, the bearish setup over here, the bearish chart is really going to be on QQQ. That is where I would be, playing over there. I personally put on a put hedge today. But I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if that grant's just going to go into the fire or not. And they're going to run this thing right back up tomorrow. I think the reaction to today's close is going to be more important than today's close. At the end of the day, you did make a higher high. I know you didn't, do it on a closing basis, but you did make a higher high above yesterday's candle. And again, we have that China deal coming together. All it needs to do is be approved. I think the market's probably going to have itself a time. We also had a bond auction today, and the market really did not sell all too much off of that. It did sell into end of day over here, but as we can see, you were just holding this trend line. So we're going to have to see what happens tomorrow. The key level is going to be 599.09 on the downside. On the upside, we're talking 603.47, 605.37, which got rejected this morning in pre-market, and then 608.13. I don't think you're just going to go straight up to all-time highs, but I'm open to whatever. But with where VIX is, I don't think we have a recipe for that much volatility going on here. But of course, above 608.13, we're talking 613.23. Coming over here to QQQ, let's go over the game plan for tomorrow. All right, so again, buyers held exactly where you needed to hold over here. They bounced it right at the 4-hour 21 EMA, right at the lower bound of this rising wedge pattern. And I will just point out you do have a 1, okay? You have a 1 bearish divergent and you have a 2, okay? So you have a triple bearish divergence going on over here. And, if this thing does start to lose 530.11, I assume we are going to start that larger sell. And I assume you're probably going to break through the supply zone and head down here to 521.95, like we pointed out a few videos ago. I know you got the little breakout over here. It was a false breakout this morning, and then you got sucked back in. But, it's really going to be important to see how the market responds to what happened today, tomorrow. All right. Are we going to get fall through to this, sell that we had today? We really don't know until it happens. So underneath 530.11, we're talking 527.92, 525.97, then 521.95. On the upside, we're watching 533.82. Then we have 536.78. Get above there. That's today's high. And we're talking 539.15 and then 540.81. Now, like I was saying, very close to all-time highs today. You were within like 0.6% at pre-market high. SPY over there was within 1.1% of all-time highs. I think it's within reach. And I think the fact that the market got this, high up over here, it's not like we did something like this where you're still a decent ways away, you're still 1% away, you were 0.6% away. It wants to get up to all-time highs. The buyers are, they're making a stand. It wants to get up to all-time highs, okay? So that is the indices. We're going to go over the MAG 7 stocks right here. We'll just come over here to the MAGS ETF. Guess what? You're pulling into some key levels, okay? This is where you just, had your breakout from. Okay, you have 53.71, and then you have 53.35, and that is where you got your initial break and retest off of on yesterday's candle, and then you had the big breakout above 53.71 that so far was a false breakout. But I'm going to be completely honest, I do think this is going to be going higher. I pointed out in yesterday's video how we don't have daily RSIs getting into overbought territory yet, and typically we will see them get into overbought territory and stay in overbought territory on these big moves, and we just haven't had that big move yet. But this really is not a chart that looks all that bearish to me. If they kill the weekly candle, that's a different thing, okay? If we get the fall through tomorrow and then we continue selling on Friday and they absolutely kill SPY's weekly candle over here, it forms a bearish reversal candlestick, a shooting star candlestick. If that happens on QQQ, then I'm going to say we're probably going to sell into next week and we get some reversion to the mean trades over here on the daily time frame. We're coming down here, okay? And we're going to see if buyers defend over here. If they don't defend right here, then we can get a weekly reversion to mean come all the way back down here. I don't think that's going to be the case because we just spent 3 weeks working on this area and we finally broke out on week 4. And now this, should be the fall through to that. Are we going to get it? Are we not? Are they going to save the weekly candle? I am not sure. Okay, so even if we sell tomorrow, maybe we do end up getting a decent sell. But what if they save it by the end of the week? And you actually close out with a bullish weekly candlestick, well, at that point, guys, I'm going to say we're probably going up to all-time highs the following week. So like I said, we're really just going to have to see how it goes from here. We know the game plan. We know how to make money off of this. Okay, you're looking to buy the dip. Well, you can do whatever you want with money. I'm looking to buy the dip. Okay, and I think anyone who wants to be making money is probably going to be buying that dip. All right. Until it's not bullish, it's bullish until it's not. Okay. Until it proves itself otherwise, we're going to be bullish on this market. And, that is where the surprises are going to be. It's going to be to the upside. Sellers have not been getting follow through on any of these moves for quite some time. And I just want everyone to remember that. Yes, we have this rising wedge pattern that, everyone that Mothers is seeing right now. Okay. We've been seeing it ever since over here. It was pretty tight all the way up until here, and now it just gets increasingly tight. This is the compression that leads to the expansion. Okay, so those are the indices. We're going to come over here to the MAG 7 stocks. Amazon, this is a little ugly birdie today. Okay, on the downside, we're going to be watching 210.50 But more importantly, we have 208.81, and that's another key break and retest that I was just saying. Like, we're going to have a lot of these across the board. You had a double top right here. You broke out above it. Okay, you got rejection, rejection, rejection at this level. And then guess what? You broke out above it with a gap and go over here. And then you kept going off to the races. Now you're pulling back into that. It's probably going to be bought. If we pull back into this, you have the daily 21 EMA that's going to be sitting right here, and you have a key break and retest level. I assume it's going to be bought up until I'm proven otherwise. Okay, that is Amazon. Coming over to Meta. Okay, if price decides to get this, decent sell going over here, you swept the high over here. If it decides to do so, we're going to look for buyers off of 662, 67. Again, another big break and retest that's also going to be right around the daily 21 EMA. That is the reversion to the mean I am speaking of. That's Meta. Coming over to Apple. This is an ugly birdie that I told you to just stay away from. Now you print a bearish engulfing candlestick. This has the relative weakness. This can sell more than everything else. So we're going to see how this goes. But, as long as they hold 193.25 for as far as I'm concerned, you're still just in this range here, and we got to wait for a breakout. Tesla, all right, you had a little gap up this morning, and you did find buyers off of yesterday's highs. And on the 4-hour chart, I'm just gonna say right here, as long as you're holding 322.50, this thing is in bullish territory. Okay, so we're gonna mark out the high over here. Right here, your daily high, 335.50, and you're gonna have today's low at 322.50. Break underneath 322.50, okay, you're probably coming back down here to 200, and at that point, we have a golden pocket test in our hands, okay? Something like that, or something like that. And you would be coming like that. Probably gonna get buyers over there. But I'm just saying, we don't know if they're gonna kill its weekly candlestick regardless. I mean, even if you sell it all the way down here to 310 to close out the week, this thing is probably going higher. I know everybody and their mother is bearish, guys. Everybody likes to listen to the news. I'm telling you, I follow the charts, and I will give you a resource here every single day. Well, at least 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, after market close. And then I also give you the weekly update on the weekend to make your money in this market. You'll always know what's going on in the market. If you are new here to the channel, just please remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when we upload these videos, so you can be prepared to make money in the market. All right, coming over here to GOOG. All right, GOOG over here, guys. Again, do we have another break and retest? Yes. Yes, we do, guys. Okay, I'm going to take off this level right here. We're going to mark out that level right there. We're going to take that one off. Okay, and if you do pull back a little bit more, you have a break and retest going off of 176.48. But as of right now, you are finding buyers off of that breakout level 178.13. You did not make it up to the 0.618 fib, so I do think this dip is very likely going to be bought, whether it comes a little bit deeper down to the 200 over here or not. It doesn't really matter. Okay, this is going to be a confluence area. You're going to have the daily 21 EMA, just like over here, just like over here. Okay, just like over here. Once you're above it, that's where you're going to be looking to as support. Well, you're going to have the daily 21 and the 200 daily moving average right here. So you're probably going to hold. You see all the reactions around this level. Well, now we're well above it, well established above it. If we pull back into it for 1 to 2 sessions, we're probably just going to find buyers there. Okay. But if you pull back in for 2 sessions, we're going to have some bearish weekly candles, and we probably do sell a little bit more into next week. We'll see how that goes. All right, over here on NVIDIA, let's come over here to the 4-hour chart. The level to hold is 141.53. If you break underneath 141.53, I'm just going to set my alert for right there. If you break that level, guys, we're talking 139.62, 137.40, and 135.40. Okay, that's going to be all the way down over here, and then underneath there 132.92. But I don't think we're gonna get all the way back down there, and even if we do, it's gonna be a big 200-day moving average test, and I assume we're gonna get buyers stepping off of that. And then you have a 1, a 2, a 3. Okay, and that's your recipe for new all-time highs. On this pullback, guys, be bullish on the pullback. No financial advice will be given on this channel, but if you're following along with these charts that we're continuously updating over here, then I mean, they're bullish charts. Even if they pull back, like, it's just going to be setting up with that reversion to the mean we like talking about. Okay, so that is NVIDIA, and then on the upside, zoom in here, you're going to watch for a break above right here at 145. Break above 145, you got rejected there right today, okay, if you know, aren't finding reactions off your levels like, you know, we demonstrate in these videos every day, please just take the levels. Take these, steal these. I want you to use them. I want you to make money in this market. And that is that, okay? Break above 145, we're talking 146.54, 148.97, and then all the way up here, all-time high is 153.13. Microsoft, well, new all-time high again. Not on a closing basis, but you are having a little gap up so far in the after hours, okay? Um, I'm still just going to say I don't think it's really worth touching this guy. I just don't. You know, this guy over here is kind of just grinding higher, and you know those aren't really enjoyable to trade. They're slow, they're grindy, and yeah, they're not really giving you much to go off of. Okay, you can long it, and you can make money this whole time, but you know it looks pretty frustrating to me. Yes, you've kind of gone straight up, but again, you are moving very slow over here. Less than, you know, we're talking like less than 0.5% moves on most of these days, and that's just not really enjoyable. Okay, 0.5 to 1% moves. So those are the Mag 7 stocks, guys. Let's just come over here to the semiconductors. Okay, well, semiconductors, they're not near all-time highs over here, SMH, but you're nearing a key level over here, and you did just have this big range. Now, speaking of big range, okay, we're going to check this guy out over here. It just broke out from this massive range over here. You got your first daily close above 114.80 that you've gotten in like a year, guys. All right, this has been, you know, coming for a long time, and now it's here. This is, you know, 250 days. It's like 2/3 of a year. Um, you know, you're probably going to get an equivalent move to the range. And you know, what do we talk about when you have a false breakdown or false breakout? Well, you target the previous end of the range. So you know, if this thing ends up, you know, really getting slammed here, and you come all the way back down here and lose the 21 EMA, then I assume you're going to target the bottom of the range, which is all the way down here at 84.91. I don't think that's going to happen. You have earnings around the corner. Daily RSI is heavily overbought, but I'm telling you right now, I think dips are going to be buying opportunities over here. And yeah, we're gonna start watching MU again because it finally started giving us what we wanted. All right, now as far as trade ideas go, guys, you know, today over here, Oklo, you did end up seeing an offering get announced in the after hours, but congratulations. If I had that was easy button with me, I'm on Greece. I'm on my trip to Greece over here, so I don't have the that was easy button, but I would hit it for you because you deserve to pat yourself on the back. Okay, if you caught this absolute monster 30% move today, we've been calling this one out. Congratulations. Okay, I personally played this. We got you know, a quick 150 to 100% over here, depending on what expiration we're talking. We played June 20, and you know, this Friday's calls over here, about 15 minutes after the open. And yeah, I mean, I think this thing's gonna hit it with the 1-2. I think we're gonna get some continuation tomorrow going over here, and I'm talking 44 to 46 bucks over here. The thing is a monster. It just broke out from this range, okay, this little pattern, uh, descending, broadening wedge, whatever you want to call this thing. You just broke out from it, and it just started going. You know, Oklo and this had its reversion to the mean going on. You had a little bull flag, and both of them just broke out. Oklo, it announced an offering. This one did not. Okay. But you know, this was my winner on the day over here. So far, guys, we've had yeah, we've had like 300% winners this week so far, and we're actually going to come over here to the other 100% gainer over here. These were actually on more dated calls, but I cut these right underneath the 200 DMA today. I told you guys in yesterday's video, it just doesn't really make sense to not hit the 200 DMA since we are so close. And you heard me talk about the 200 DMA. It just means this yellow line up here. It's a 200-day moving average. It just made no sense for us not to test it. We tested it. We took profits off of it, but you know, this is one that we entered somewhere down here, and yeah, I mean, we had a straight shot up, and I do think you are going to be going higher, but I welcome a buying opportunity over here. This is what I told my Discord. We're either going to see this thing plow right through it, okay, like we see some of the times, okay, like right over here, or you are going to get this move right here, and we're going to have a trending move start up where we can buy this pullback into the weekly 21 EMA, maybe off of 210.13. I'm not sure which one exactly we're going to get. We're going to have to see how this weekly candle closes. If we close above it, then we know what's happening. Okay, but you know, regardless, we're looking to buy that dip, and we know how to make money on this move. We made money on the initial move. Let's hope we get a pullback here, and we can, you know, re-enter those and run back on the July, or we'll switch to August calls this time around. We'll see. All right, but DIA is another one over here that you did end up coming into that supply zone. I was pointing out you're just right underneath it. Didn't really make sense not to test it. But yeah, you did end up testing that 431.42 to 433.20 supply zone today. All right, back to the trade ideas, guys. We're talking MCD. All right, this one I gave you after this day right here, and I thought we were probably going to be doing something like this, maybe dancing around it. Maybe we do just spring up off of it, but I'm just going to say that sometimes happens. It sometimes doesn't. Over here, you just danced around it for a whole week and a half, and then you started getting the impulsive move up, and then you pull back for a little bit, and then there's that. All right. Um, you know, this is something that I think is probably going to be doing that, and it can take a little while, but I think in the end, we are going to experience this move right here. Okay. So that's MCD McDonald's. Coming over here to HIMS, guys. Okay. HIMS, I don't think this thing is going to really pull back all that much. Okay. The market, it was weaker than HIMS over here. This is relative strength on the day. If it can break above 59.29 over the coming trading session, I think this thing is probably going to start trekking back up to 65.89. And above there, you have all-time highs. All right. Coming over here, the weekly chart. Let's just remove all of our levels here. Okay. You can see clear as day, this thing is getting ready for a move up to all-time highs. It's consolidating a bull flag. Like this is exactly what right over here this guy was doing, except it was kind of on the daily time frame when it was just dancing around over here. Well, him's over here. It's been taking a really long time here. It's consolidating. It's getting ready to move. You hit it with the break and retest today off this trend line. Yeah, I'd still think this is a valid trend line because you have so many touch points over here, and this was just a false breakout on a closing basis. You did not break out of it over there. But yeah, you hit it with the break and retest. You're getting really tight up against the daily 21 EMA, just like you were over here. And I do have to assume that this thing is going to start breaking up. So above 59.29, we're talking 65.89, and then 72.98. Once it breaks out, we're talking 80, 90, and then $100. PayPal. All right, PayPal over here, guys. It's so close to the 200 DMA. It's just like IWM, right? Very similar setup over there. I'm not giving up on this guy yet. I know you can do it, buddy. I know you could do it. You hit it with the break and retest today off of 74.15. If this thing is going to continue marching up, then you're going to hold today's low. Okay, so you're not going to really be violating 74.15. You're going to find buyers around there, and you're not going to violate today's low because if you do, you're starting to lose the 4-hour 21 EMA. And as we could see, that is when, at best, we're going sideways. So we just don't really want to see it. And if we do see it, then we're probably just getting this right here. Pull back right here. It's probably going to consolidate for like 2 weeks and then move up. That's what I'm thinking if we do pull back underneath today's low. So that would be that over here on PayPal, but I still think it makes perfect sense to continue trekking higher over here. I don't really think it's going to matter all that much on the market. As long as the market doesn't face plant tomorrow, then I think PayPal still can get up here 76.46. Bros, this one I put on your radar. It was actually right over here. And then, yeah, I put it back on your radar right over here. You got the move. We got 100%. Your boy did not sell over here. I was a greedy little pig. Guys, don't be a greedy little pig. If you're up 100%, take your money. Okay, take your money. We get these opportunities every single week. We get 2 to 4 of these opportunities that can yield 50 to 100%. That's at least, what my system entails. That's what I'm going to share in these videos. That's what I share with my Discord. And I try and tell you guys, you don't have a reason to FOMO. You don't have a reason to, stay in a losing cycle. If you are in a losing cycle, take a step back. Okay, every 1 to 2 weeks, you get a fresh reset on setups, and you don't have to stay in that losing cycle. You can get out of that, and I want you to come back to being a winner. Being a winner feels good. You can stack your wins, and at the end of the day, you're going to have much better psychology. And trading is something that, if you're losing in trading, it's going to tie into your personal life. Okay, you don't need that. You don't need that type of stress. I want you to take a step back. I want you to come back to the market. Okay, after a few days, and in these videos, I'm going to show you what's hot. Okay, I'm going to show you the setups that are ready to go, and you're going to execute. You're going to have flawless execution. All right, and that's how you're going to return to the winner circle. But bros over here is something that right here it's a make or break. Either you're going to break down underneath 69.70, and you're going to start moving down over here, break under 68.50. We're going to call it 68.70 right there. So we'll just make a zone right here. Okay, if you break this zone, you're coming down here. At that point, weekly reversion to the mean, that would align with the market having a bigger sell here. And then we get another buying opportunity over here. So if you didn't take a full position over here, maybe July, maybe you want to go to August calls. all right, that is going to be buy the dip opportunity over there if it presents itself. Other than that, you're just waiting for the break above 73.93 again. On a daily close, we still have not gotten a daily close above that level yet. But once we do, it's coming back up to 77.88 and then 80.62 and then probably all-time highs just like PLTR and Hood did, 86.88. All right. ASTS, guys, this is one that just kept trekking higher. You did make new highs over here, but it wasn't all that much. I think you're probably going to resume pushing tomorrow. And if you do pull back, it's clear as they buy an opportunity. So that is that over here in ASTS. APLD, this now is returning back to that previous all-time high zone over here. I know you got this, but on Webull, it doesn't show any of this action. You just have this action going on over here. Either way, big break and retest here on the weekly time frame. All right, the zone was made up from this touch point and this touch point over here. You are having a big break and retest, and like that arrow shows over there, I think you're going to get bought up over here, and I think you're going to continue higher up to $20 after this is all said and done. So if you were someone who missed the move with me over here, then this is an opportunity for you to play it over here if you really want. And if you don't see buyers defend over here, you're very likely just going to come back down to, $8 over here, and you're going to find big buyers over there and probably march it right back up. So that's the game plan over here in APLD. That is what I have for you guys in today's video. If you would like to come trade with me, I'll be live streaming every day. I'm currently in Greece, so I'm giving a 40% discount code. It's code Greece, code GREECE. If you want to come kill it with me, come kill it with our team. I live stream every day. I trade every day with you guys. I give you game plans every day. I give you a focus list each week. Typically we have 2 to 4, 50 to 100% gainers every week. That I can guarantee. I will share you these trade plans no matter what my execution. I'm going to do my best to catch those as well. We've caught 300% gainers so far this week, and some of those went a little bit more, but like today, over there on SMR. But yeah, if you want to come trade with me, that is going to be the link down below. Just make sure you are using code GREASE so you can get that 40% off of your first month to try it out. All right, with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please just remember to leave a like on today's video so we can get this out to more people. This is a YouTube channel that is severely underrated. It's not really another channel that does it like we do here. I think we are one of a kind, and yeah, if you could just help me scratch my back. I like scratching your back with these videos each and every day for no cost to you. If you could just help me out, I would very much so appreciate it. Thank you, and peace.